For sure, glad you remembered it. All right, so let's get rocking and rolling. This is part 3 of the Ultimate Agent Boot Camp. Appreciate you guys being here today. So first things first, again, I always kind of do this little reminder in the beginning, that is, we're going to hit 12 weeks roughly, 10 to 12 weeks, 4 main modules, and the whole idea is breaking the pattern, leaving a legacy for your family, for the generations to come, and getting over this hump that 97% of realtors sell two or few homes per month, 24 a year. And the only reason, or the main reason we'll really talk about that, is that in our experience working with agents, 2 deals a month is where stability happens. You've heard me say that over and over and over, but that's where stability happens. That's where you start to be able to treat this like a business, where you've got some consistency in there. You've kind of figured out at least 1, maybe 2 ways to generate leads ongoing, filling them into your pipeline, converting them, and then you can really start to understand your budgeting better and roll it forward to build this foundation in your business. And that happens at about 2 deals per month on average. So again, foundation, we're still kind of here. We're going to be shifting a little bit into skills today, but the foundation, what are the activities that's going to actually take to hit our goals? And then what are the skills that we need to do to actually start getting the business converting at a higher level?
Okay,
so
let me take a picture of that.
Yep, sure.
That's me.
That's
okay,
you.
that's not what I want. Somebody make it go away. Okay.
You are the foundation, Natalie.
That is
You are
wonderful.
the foundation.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. So again, shifting kind of from foundation into skill set. So here's some events coming up though that I want you guys to make sure and start looking at getting on your calendar. One is Build 2026 in Dallas. I know several of you are already talking about it.
I think I've already gotten tickets.
Beautiful. Buildevent26.com.
Well,
if you can't make
registration's
Dallas,
not open yet.
Oh, then never mind.
if you can't make Dallas, look at other events. There's
Yeah.
13 or 14 of them around the country this year. Or go to more than one. So Build Event 26, I do know we're going to have a large faction from here going, a large faction from mid-Missouri, St. Louis, Kansas City. A lot of our group will be going there.
Yes.
I'll be surprised if we don't have 60 or 70 people at least in Dallas just from our group. Goal's 100, so there you go.
Oh,
100.
I
So
already have my tickets.
that'll
to
be a
Salt Lake
party. Salt Lake City, you've got your tickets for EXPCon. Okay, so that's coming up. That date is wrong. I forgot to change my dates.
Yeah,
That's in,
it's
that's in
no, you're right, it's
October.
October.
I moved things around, so that's in October. And then Cabo 27. Next spring is actually not Cabo, it's Scottsdale. So what they have set up is an amazing. The JW Marriott Resort in Scottsdale is going to be an awesome event. So
I can't go to that one.
those are 3 big ones. Put them on your radar. That's a year away. That's a year away, so start thinking about it. So
It's in Arizona.
let's review some things that we've gone over the last couple of sessions,
Look at
right?
the picture.
So, and where you guys may have questions or not. Your unique value proposition. Do you feel like you have dialed in what makes you special? What's your differentiator? Have you guys kind of figured that out? Like, why should I hire you instead of you? Why should I hire you instead of you? What's your 30, do you have a 30-second, like when you do a networking event, you say, hey, I'm Natalie with eXp Realty, right? Do you have your thing kind of dialed in that you say at that point in time?
No, because with that, I usually use something different, so they're not listening to the same thing, like something new to say. But I think the short version of that answer, at least in my head, and what I try to convey on an individual basis, is just that I do care. Like, to me, it's very exciting, and it's an honor, which I know I tell people it sounds hokey, but it feels like an honor to help people get their home. So like, they sit at the closing table and they sign their documents, and I walk away and I'm sort of in awe of the fact that I got to help them do that. And I really hope that never goes away, because this is where their family is gonna be. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And this is where a large portion of their hard-earned money is going to go, or whatever. And that's an honor to help people with that, because it's important.
Yeah. No, I think that's cool. So, I mean, think about how you can do that and not think about it. How you can have that be natural if somebody asks, well, why should I hire you? Right? Really think about your 30 seconds of what your differentiator is. And you may have, in a way, a couple, depending on target market, right? I mean, if you're talking to a commercial guy, it's going to be different than if you're talking to a first-time buyer. But at the same time, there's probably a theme in how you think, how you process, how you run your business, how you treat people, your general philosophies that makes an impact on your client in a given way. And that's really your value proposition. Most agents don't know what theirs is. They really have no idea. And so if that does come up ever, whether it's a networking event or across the interview table, that's one of those things that you ought to just be able to snap right off, and that alone will get it there. The other thing going through the process, really part of the process of why the UVP is an important piece is because we used to do a deeper version, and we can maybe go do it again, and that's your mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. So the MVVBP. Most all businesses do that are ever a successful business. If you look at any large scale business, they very clearly have a mission statement. They have a vision statement, right? They may not share their beliefs and perspectives and values out there. We do at EXP, like integrity, stability, right? Financial stewardship, like all these things, innovation, our value systems out there publicly. Not every company does, but when you go through the process of even thinking, what am I really trying to accomplish here? What's my vision for how I run my business, how I treat my customers? Why am I even doing this? What's my drive? Which kind of feeds back into your big why a little bit. You just become more empowered, understanding even who you are as an agent. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it gives you that extra level of confidence and ability to articulate it, right? So we have a couple of different ways we look at it within our segment, within Kathy and I. One is really the idea of people over profits, right? Very simple statement, but people come first, the profits will naturally come. Take care of people, money shows up, right? It's number one. The other one is that we focus on building generational wealth, right? So that's another one, depending on who we're talking to. That's kind of our thing. I help people build generational wealth, right? So think about what a couple little key things might be that are takeaways from what you're really trying to accomplish, and just work on articulating it, right?
Yeah.
We've gone through this a couple of times now, but do you guys feel like you have a better understanding of what your big why is? What is driving you, why you wake up in the morning to do this? Especially if the closing hasn't happened, you guys feel like you're pretty clear on that, yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you have it written down anywhere? Keep it in front of you. Write it down somewhere. Again, define it, even if it's going back through in that quadrant that we had where we did the big why, the what's most important, second, third, and fourth. If you still have a copy of that, great. If not, I can send you the video link where I walk through it. Like when I did the group coaching stuff, you could see the video and walk through it again. But keep that, even that quadrant, keep that somewhere. Take a picture of it, have it, because that'll help you just, again, focus on what you need to on the tough days. Your perfect week. Have you guys, well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, on my big why, I feel like, right now, like, I don't know if this makes sense, but while I can write down some refined reasons, that my overart or whatever thing is, just making this situation better for my family. And I'm not comfortable in that yet. So the detailed things, like I want to be able to go on a vacation, is not, while that is part of that, I'm not ready for the little things yet. I'm still getting the bigger things.
Yeah, so here's an interesting thing about what you say, and I want everybody to think about with our big why. When we go into the quadrants, sometimes we get into granular things, like I want X number of investment properties or whatever. But if you remember how we dovetail it all in the exercise, is one of the things is, okay, first of all, what is it, and then define it clearly, right?
Right.
So I want financial freedom. A lot of people say that. Well, what does that mean? Well, I need to pay off $300,000 in debt, and I need $1 million in the bank, and I need 6 figures in passive income. Okay, great. But get clear, define it. The third thing is, why is that important? Right? And then the next question we ask is, how does that make you feel, knowing that you've accomplished that, right? So when you go through that, ultimately, it's not about the things. Ultimately, your big why gets defined by why is it important and how does it make you feel?
Yeah.
Because those are the things that when you get clear on, I need to have this sense of accomplishment, I need a sense of freedom, I need to de-stress, I need to know I've provided, I need to whatever, all that's really your why, right? It's not the investment properties, it's what those do for you and then how they make you feel. So if you've got a bigger understanding of your why, the rest of it's the exercise. Does that make sense?
I guess my why then isn't as that big, because my why is maybe what you would consider one of those quadrants of just providing for my family.
Yes.
You know, because right now, we're getting a house. Like, what
I know,
the
it's
heck?
so amazing.
We're getting
You
a,
get
it
a new
is.
house, yeah.
And I have to. So right now, it's to be able to more comfortably afford that, because my payment's going up a lot.
Yeah.
And like, it's
Yeah.
going up so much. You know, so it's really for us, because it's just those day-to-day things. So I'm kind of, in a way, I'm starting over, because now our expenses have gone up with it, will go up with the new house. And so now I'm like, okay, now we got to get comfortable here.
Mhm.
And we'll be there for a while at this house, so that part will get comfortable, and then those breakout things of more specific life,
Yeah.
because it's all about my family.
For most people it is, not everybody, but for most people it comes back somehow, some way, shape, or form. And the amazing thing about this industry is you really do have a chance to break that pattern and leave a legacy, right? You've got a chance to give a completely different experience to your spouse, your kids, the grandkids, right? That, I think about what my parents, they didn't build wealth, but they broke a pattern, right? So my dad was one of 8 down in the sticks of Blue Eye, right? He was racing cars in the hills at night with lights off, cutting trees down.
Are you a hick?
My dad. So I'm second generation hick, right?
Yeah.
But because of his efforts, and I wouldn't mind growing up that way, honestly. I
That
would
would have been
love
fun to grow up that way.
But at the same time, he's the only one that ever got off the farm. He's one of the only ones that didn't really die early or go blue collar or get alcoholism, right? He hitchhiked almost every night to MSU and went to college from Blue Eye.
Oh,
And
wow.
then at night, he'd work overnight cleaning as a janitor at the school to pay tuition. And he graduated in 3 years, right? That was a why. He did not want for his family in the future. He didn't know he was going to have a family, right? Yeah. He knew he didn't want that for his family someday.
Right.
And even though all he did was, quote unquote, become a teacher, that was completely different than
Yeah.
everything else that his family did, right?
Right.
So the thing is that most people kind of have this thing of, how do I go forward and break a pattern, set a new standard or a new expectation? Like, I look at my daughter, or I look at my niece and nephew and what my brother's done. That's a whole different level than from even what my dad did, right? So
Yeah.
every time you keep raising standards and expectations and elevating, and that's powerful. That's super powerful, right? So you've got that chance to do it. And right now, it was about making a little more consistent income. It's about the bigger house, and now you're having that. Then it's going to be maybe about getting rid of all your debts and building wealth and leaving that, and having the kids set up in a situation where they have more choices, especially considering some of the things they're going to need for care, right? And having these things set up, that it's huge what you're doing. So yes, refine it, but I think more of it is by refining is getting in touch with it emotionally at such a level that it's palpable, right? Does that make sense? Where you're like, man, I can smell that future. I can taste it. I can feel it. And by God, failure's not an option. That future is going to be my reality, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But then what happens, the more you own the emotional connection, the stuff starts to show up. Then it becomes a matter of, you'll hear a lot of people say, well, Susie, she just got lucky, right? Or whatever it may be. And where I'm going with this is that,
they all just fall in her lap.
yeah, and it's like, it's not luck, it's preparedness meeting opportunity.
Yeah.
And then knowing how to grab the opportunity and discerning what is an opportunity and what's not.
Yeah.
So that's not luck, but what happens again, the clearer you get on what you want and you feel it and you internalize it, the more the opportunities show up. And as more and more of them show up, your challenge will be discernment and figuring out which is the right family that aligns with your values, your system, your tribe, your family.
And I feel like
Yeah.
I've had that, because like when I started doing stuff with Rachel last year, it was literally it was on the phones, it was phone calling, it was relatively cold calling, very cool, barely lukewarm calling, but it was working. I mean, it was doing work. It wasn't really working, but, and then I've got, so a year later almost, now, gosh, yeah, it's like this month. Yeah, it's the year. It's our anniversary.
It's our anniversary. I'll give you this one, cause I'll go back to Dollar Tree and get a new one. It's very shiny.
But, you know, at that time, I spent a couple of months on the phones just calling as much as I could possibly stomach, having no desire to do that behavior, but being desperate, being hungry enough that I needed to get started. And now, like, especially at the moment, I'm almost too busy to make those calls. You know, I'm not. Today I might be.
Yeah.
Because I got like because I have specific people. I have such a list of people that I'm actively following up with and funneling into the pipeline that I don't have time to sit for hours every day and just make phone calls. You know, and that's amazing because I hate that part. But it also, I'm hungry enough to do it. And you know,
and the hunger comes from knowing you want something different, right?
Yes.
And that's kind of where all this ties back into that is so getting clear enough that there is something that you want bad enough to do something differently than what you've been doing.
Yes.
Right? Whether it's this, whether it's your sales team, whether it's agent attraction, whether it's nutrition, doesn't matter, right? Whatever it is, it's like, I've got to do this, a spiritual walk, right? Whatever it is, I want this more than what I've got today. Because the reality is that, unfortunately, for most of us in this world, and I'm putting myself in there too, is that most of us in this world, Tony Robbins says it really succinctly, and that is most of us tend to move away from pain more than toward opportunity. So the challenge becomes actually when you get to a place where it's less painful and you're kind of comfortable, it's harder to then push and go to that next level, right? So like, I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Just sit in your comfort.
Which is why
I'm just sitting down,
so
I'm right here.
going, oh no, I still have to make some phone calls because I don't want to, you know, I still have to do those foundational things to keep the next, you know, first four going. So to speak.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, so keep doing it. And the only way you're gonna do that is, again, getting really clear about it to where you close your eyes and feel it. You know it, you're transported. So within that, then you've got the bigger picture, you've got that figured out. To make all those things happen, you have to run a schedule, right? You can't wing it. You can wing it and do 5 or 10 deals a year. You can't wing it and do 20, 30, 40, 50 deals a year. You can't do it. So if you haven't already, really work on your perfect week, right? And lay out that calendar like we've talked about. Get into using the 411 tool. Get an accountability partner if you're not. The 411, again, is that 1 year up top, then the 1 month, and then the 4 weeks down below. You know what I'm talking about? So it's 4 weeks, 1 month, and 1 year is what that stands for. But you really, the year are your big goals, right? And trackable, measurable, like 24 closings, 180,000 GCI, budget of 35,000, right? Whatever it may be. I want to go to EXPCon, right? So things that are very specific. And then a lot of times until you figure out if you've got seasonality, like some places have real big seasonality. We don't have much here, but like in Miami, a lot of times they would need to do their business in 7 months, right? Like that was the season for the most part. So you would have to stagger it and say, well, I need 10 deals this month because I know in July I'm gonna get 2, whatever it may be, right? If you know that, then you program that into your 401. But then the weekly, those are your actions, right? Those are, I'm gonna write my 10 notes. I'm gonna put 30 people in my database. I'm gonna make 50 contacts. I'm gonna hold 2 open houses, right? With the goal of 1 listing appointment or 2 listing appointments or 1 buyer appointment. It's not about closing transactions in the weekly goals, right? But it's about saying, if I do these things, I build a foundational trend that I can measure my results from. Saying, if I consistently do this every week, what are my results every week? Well, on average, I get 1 new appointment. Great. Am I happy with that? Yes or no? If I'm happy with it, cool. I can keep going like this. If I want more in my life, then I need to adjust and make that my new standard of activity for the week, okay? It's not about I'm gonna have a closing this week or I'm gonna take a listing this week, but I am going to do these action items. And it's not little things. It's not work on my website, right? It's not add another home buyer guide to my repertoire.
Right, like,
it's
things with
actually
people.
contact lead generation focused is what it is, okay? Because the rest of the stuff fills in on your perfect week if it ever gets back on there at all, right? The rest of it fills in those blank spots we have for working on your business in the perfect week calendar. Okay, cool. So any questions about this so far? Just kind of recap of everything we've done so far. Y'all good? We're gonna move on.
I'm gonna, okay.
Okay, so we'll move on. If you think about it, we'll come back to it later. So again, today is really, what we're diving deep in is about absolutely owning your sphere and virtually guaranteeing those 24 deals a year to walk into the year, okay? So really owning your sphere. I don't care if you love people or don't love people, you're going to end up wanting to build a sphere in this business, because even if that sphere is nothing more than previous clients coming back they're part of your sphere now, right? So Kathy says a thing basically like, once you're in her world, you never get to leave it, right? So she pulls you in, and it's kind of stalkery,
Yes,
but
yes.
no, but really, she says it with love, right? But it's like, once you're in my world, like you're in my world, like I'm pulling you in, we're hugging it out forever, right?
That
So
is my goal, is to try to keep my past clients relevant and not just,
You have to hug them.
okay,
I'm
so
not hugging them.
you do not have to hug them. Trust me, you do not have to hug them. You do not have to hug them.
Just send them a note.
But we do want to, a lot of us are not really good at that. I would say in all the years that I did the private coaching stuff, most of the agents I coached, hundreds of them, were not running a sphere database. They were not running it well. They were doing their mailers really well, maybe to expireds or a farm, or they were cold calling, or they were doing great open houses, but they weren't. But there's hugs going on. But they weren't great at their long-term nurture, right? They were not.
That is my deal.
So we want to get that cranked up. Again, here's the perfect week. This is kind of where I've shared with you guys when we were running our big team in Florida. This is where sphere calls went in for me, and it was very purposeful. So again, I try to work out in the morning. I would do my mental preparation in big rocks, like what do I want to accomplish today? Plus I'd hug the dog, laugh with the kid, whatever, right? Have a good breakfast. Then I would do my hardest thing first, which in my lead generation was cold calls, expired and for sale by owners, right? And then immediately after that, I would go into sphere of influence calls. So if you think about your calendar, Natalie, maybe all those lead follow-ups that are cool, you do it for 30 to 45 minutes first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
But you don't get rid of that, because that may have built part of your pipeline now. I don't know, but historically it does. It starts to feed over time, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months down the road. Those cold calls become future business. So we do that first on new stuff in the pipeline, then the sphere of calls, because again, that's where this honestly drained my energy, right? The expired and FSBOs drained it. That's why I had to do it first, or I would have a million reasons not to do it. And then the sphere built the energy back up. Does that make sense? It may not even be, it may be real estate related or sphere calls. Indirectly, every sphere call the goal is really deepening the relationship. In that conversation, real estate usually comes up, okay? But it's deepening the relationship, period, okay? So when you do that, you're gonna get built back up. And then you do your lead nurture after that. So stuff that's already in the pipeline that you say is kind of warm, I need to follow up with these 10 people on my list today, that goes here, but you're doing it every day, right? So you're consistent, so you can manage your time.
So sorry, this
All right.
keeps going off.
That's all right, you can throw that out anytime you want.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
Just put it on mute.
no, I have somebody that's coming to get something for me, and if I don't have it on, I will not hear
Okay.
her when she gets here.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So it's all right, we're all adults, it's good. So this is, again, an idea, and that's why I structured it that way, but you need to find what works for you, right? Find what works for you, put it in here. There's no such thing. It looks great on color coordinated shit, right? But there really is no such thing as a perfect week. This is a guideline.
Right.
Right.
This is so whenever I fall off or I get run around ragged with a fire or two, I still have direction the next day to wake up, reset, and say I need to get back on track, right?
I do have this.
I can't really read that far because I'm
No,
old
but
now.
It's very
but
small.
It looks
And I need to
like you've
update
laid
it,
out a lot
but
of
It
it.
looks like that.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
basically like that. I just recreated it in Excel so I could
Yeah.
do that.
If you want a blank template of this, you can go to Calendarpedia, calendarpedia.com if you want a blank template. Okay? So let's talk about the sphere specifically and what we need to do. So the interesting thing about working with anybody that's thinking about real estate or any business really, before we've done our brand exercise, you guys remember that where I'm like, name the top 5 American-made cars. You
Oh,
guys
yes.
done that with me?
Yeah.
That was actually a really
Okay,
good.
so it's a cool exercise, right? And what we discover when we do that exercise, that most everybody only has a place for number 1 and number 2 in their brain. After that, number 3, 4, 5, 6 is a myriad of answers,
Oh, I don't
right?
remember 6.
So, yeah, right? In a lot of cases, it's just really way out there. And in some of them, we struggled with more than 2 or 3. But when you get down to the very last one, like what's your favorite gelatin brand, desserts, or what's the number one
Yeah,
gelatin
that one
brand?
was actually hard.
Jello.
Jello.
Jello's
That's
it, right?
Yeah.
I've heard other people say like KC or Royal, or they'll say like Always Save. I'm like, well, that doesn't
Oh, I
count.
forgot about Roy.
But, so Royal was the one I would hear some, but really Jello dominates that space, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to your sphere, I always joke, I'm like, well, with your sphere, how do you become Jello, right? You want to be Jello.
I'm there.
So how do you become Jello?
Catching you.
With your sphere, with when anytime somebody asks them, who's the top agent, who's the agent I need to work with, there shouldn't be a question as to who the number one person is with your sphere.
Yeah.
So what's powerful with that is that it also gives us permission to think on a smaller level and not on a global level. I think a lot of agents look at this like, man, I'm competing with 2,500 agents in Springfield. There's an agent for every 100 people in this
But
town.
you're not.
Whatever it is, right? We're not competing globally. We don't need to own Springfield. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. To hit our goals, we need to be Jello with our sphere and with a set number of people. If you are that number one thought of brand to 400 people, 500 people, you're making 300 grand a year. Okay?
Can you do this same thing? Because I don't have a sphere, okay?
Uh-huh.
My sphere is non-existent. My best friend, who is my best friend, she did real estate with me, so I can't go to her. So, can you do the same thing, but with businesses? Most of my CRM has 400 businesses.
Yeah.
I go to business events all the time, and I love those people.
Yeah.
I would like to work with those people. But how do you turn entity into one?
Because there's always a person behind an entity. There's no entity that's not run by somebody. So even like today, I made a post and I talked about it in our recruiting call this morning. You don't build a big business, you build big people that then build the business. So behind any business, there's teams of people. So you still need to build your sphere. It just is gonna be people that are maybe in a position of influence or leadership, but it's still a person. So you need to go beyond the corporate relationship and still do the things we traditionally do, which is build trust, recognition.
So I was gonna
Repeat.
do the thing that Kathy told me the last time we were here.
I don't know what that is.
Um,
I don't remember, I'm sure I did, but.
She told me to go get a jar,
Mhm.
put my business card in there with some candy,
Mhm.
and then take it to the office. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
But how,
Because you'll start to get to know the people there, right? So when you get there, and we can talk about that a little bit deeper as we go through today, but that really is probably honestly a Kathy class about how to take the businesses or entities or the fire departments or lots of
Yeah.
things she did in the past to start her business ground up. But ultimately, the thing is, if you're going in there every month, you're gonna get to know the person at the front desk.
yeah,
That's gonna become conversational. Then it's gonna be, as you're in there, you're starting to get to know other people, or you're gonna offer some type of a value add, whatever it may be, a
Okay.
training, an event, an opportunity, a barbecue, I mean, just to get more people in the room, right? And it starts to expand, but at the same time, we have to be careful, I feel like, in understanding why we're doing what we're doing. And yes, we want the business, we wanna earn the right to earn the business, but the first thing that has to happen is the relationship before the business. So it may take a while to build that, but you're still building a sphere.
well, I would still be within my 5 years. So,
Okay, yeah. And it's just, the focus is building relationships, building a sphere. Your just pool of people you're going through starts with the business. Does that make sense? It's really no different than if I say I wanna start going to biker meetups, right? The idea is I'm still just trying to meet people. That's just my pool I'm going fishing in. But ultimately there, if it's cold relationships, I still have to meet people and build a relationship outside of that to have it come here and be powerful.
My
Makes sense.
friend Kristen, her entire job at her company is to go meet people. It is not to bring in sales, it is not to bring in buyers, It is to simply just meet people out in the community and get that business's name out there. Okay, then those people are the ones that potentially have business or other people to introduce her to. She doesn't actually have to, and that's, I think, how I am trying to create a sphere, because I don't feel like I have one, even though I do. I don't feel like I do, but of people that bring in more people that I didn't already know. So I wasn't trying to know anybody before.
Yeah. Now you be purposeful about it.
Yeah.
Right? And that is the thing, is be purposeful about it. So how do we, when we get somebody and we meet them, this is where whether they're a past client or whether we met them and we had a significant conversation, like we met them at a networking event, and then we had a coffee with them offline, what do we do then, right? So that's what today is really about. Like, once we've gotten a halfway significant conversation, what do I do to become jello in their brain, right? What do I do? So this is what it is, right? So it's 40 contacts a year. 40 a year absolutely solidifies who you are and what you do.
40 touches.
40 touches.
To one person.
To one person.
So
every year.
that's 12 print.
So 12 print newsletters.
That's just
once a month.
Once a month.
Right? The reason, you can set it up pretty easy, especially with AI nowadays. I used to charge $100 for people to use my newsletter. Nobody needs to do that now. You can just go ask ChatGPT to write. I would say, hey, write me a real estate newsletter that's 2 pages, so you can just do it front and back, right? That's a 2-page newsletter that hits all 4 personality types of the DISC behavioral profile and makes me the real estate agent of choice in Springfield, Missouri.
Can we exclude people
Chat
we
will-
don't work with?
Well, you should mail it to them. Yeah. So you do this, you have that print out the newsletter, right? You save it, you put it in a Gamma or whatever and have Gamma make it visually beautiful. Then you print it and you drop it in the mail. You can start out with 10 people, or you can, really get it to where your labels are set up and all the things like that. You could use a mail house, however you want to do it.
Now, is there a way to make that printed newsletter, can you go in with a lender so it won't cost you
You're making
anything?
it. Yeah, you're making it. So that's a great point. Something we've talked about before is zero basing your
Because
costs.
I don't have any money to print out 150 pieces
Yeah,
of paper.
yeah,
to
absolutely.
people.
Zero base your cost, right? So think about something we've talked about before is like your service directory, or a lender, or a title, or inspector, or handyman, lawn care guy. It really doesn't matter who, but you can go in with a lender. Some of the lending institutions around here on a local and regional level, they will actually do the print for you. So you would send them the copy, they'll pay for all the printing, and then you would deal with delivery, whether it's mailing, hand
Well, that's
delivery,
what I was more
whatever it
looking
might be.
to do.
Yeah. So yeah, there are several of those
And
companies.
Eric said he would do that, so.
Okay, yeah, you can do it. So they're gonna have certain rules as to what they might need in exchange, but talk to them about it, find out, and tell them this is what you're gonna start doing. Just tell them, this is what I'm gonna start doing, right? So what does that
And
need
you
to
can
look
do more
like?
than one.
I have
One a month.
a lender and an insurance agency that we're gonna start doing something like that.
And
So
you-
that's
can
kind
you
of that
work
core.
with more than one lender without them feeling better?
I wouldn't.
No.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I would add enough value to that one lender that it makes sense. If I'm just taking money from people, and not adding enough value at a level to drive my business where I want it to go, I probably wouldn't. Now, we have our lenders on a rotation, but they're not paying for any of our marketing. We do all of our own marketing. We have 3 lenders that we tend to work with, maybe 4 now, but we rotate different event opportunities or exposure that they'll sponsor, right? So we use it more for a sponsorship of events or lunches or happy hours, things along that line, and they get to attend. And they're the only lender that attends that event, or they're the only one that gets to speak. It's very clear what the expectations are for that. So there are different ways of doing it, but if I'm scaling up a print campaign, I'm gonna have one lender that does my print campaign. Even if I get up to 1,000 people, that lender's gonna do that print campaign. But the idea is he's only gonna keep paying for it if he's getting leads, right? If he's getting opportunities and at-bats. So even think about your ancillary providers that you might do this with. Think about how you guys are gonna reciprocate, right? We talked about this a few classes ago, is that you might be using certain providers right now that you've never asked for any piece of business from. And if you haven't, you need to be doing that, right? Are your providers referring people to you? If not, start looking for providers that will, to be quite frank. But at the same time, understand that provider, that vendor is gonna want that out of you too. So you wanna find somebody that really has good synergy, good relationship with, that you're trying to build something together with. And it makes sense if you're doing that. I've shared a story about a friend of mine, Seth, that was in Boston. Seth got to the point where his monthly ad spend covered by vendors was 30 grand a month,
Holy cow.
Insane,
right? 30 grand a month, paid for all his overhead and paid for his admin
That's
team.
crazy, yeah.
But he added value to that group. He got to the point where his business was doing 60 million.
Yeah.
Every single freaking lead went to his vendors,
Come
right?
on, Rachel, get on the ball.
So
Woo, girl, I'm trying.
don't think it has to, it might start out at $100 or $200 or whatever, or it may start out with free newsletters. It doesn't have to stay there, right? As the relationship grows and value grows, start having these conversations sooner than later about what you're wanting to accomplish. So for now, it may be, I've got 100 people, 150 people that I'm gonna start doing this to, whatever it is. My vision for my overall business goal is 500. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start here today, but here's where I'd like to take this over 18 to 24 months. Is that something you'd be interested in? Because I'd rather find a relationship that I can carry this and build it with, right? Are you comfortable growing this with me, and what does that look like? Have those conversations with people, and it may be, like you said, a couple of parties getting together, insurance, lender, handyman, whatever, pitching in.
What I found too is, as the real estate agent, we end up having more referrals to give than those other parties.
I would
Because,
challenge you to think about that.
well, I mean, that's what I'm hearing from those other people. Because most people don't go to the lender first.
No, but does the lender know anybody?
But
That's all we're doing.
right,
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
but
All
they're
we're
not
doing-
gonna I'm gonna have, hopefully, I have more clients to give to the lender I like than she does to give to me, because other people give her, and she gets referred by another agent, another agent, another agent. She doesn't necessarily get direct, like, where she has the person first.
Well, then good, just tell her to give you more money.
Yeah,
If she doesn't have more clients to give you.
yeah, it's gotta be
tell her to give you
reciprocal.
more money.
It's gotta be
More
reciprocal, like for marketing and whatever
Okay.
else in these relationships. So it absolutely should be equitable, right? What you're giving. If you gave her 5 buyers and she gets 3 basis points, or let's say 1 basis point. So she gets $2,500 per buyer. That's her income. The 4 buyers, that's 10 grand. What are you getting in reciprocity from her?
She closes my loans.
So does any lender that's halfway decent.
Yeah, but I like how she
Halfway
does it.
decent.
Yeah, so.
Well, that's the thing, is
so
they're not all
if-
halfway
if-
decent, and I
they
like how
aren't.
she treats clients.
Okay, that's
So,
it's your
like, that's a-
choice. It's your
yeah.
choice. I'm not telling you have to do any of this.
No, I know, I'm just,
I'm telling you how to do it and make more money. You don't have to do it and make more money if you don't want to. I'm just telling you how to do it in a way that covers a lot of your expense, allows you to scale faster, not impact your personal household income as much, and also hopefully create more synergy within this kind of accountability group.
Mhm.
So think of it like you do networking, right? In the networking, they're teaching people how to network and find more opportunities for everybody in the group, right?
right,
So your lender in a perfect world shares a similar philosophy, and they're not just receiving all the time from real estate agents. They're hopefully out working mixers, or they're going to other networking events and building relationships. Those relationships are the ones I want.
yeah,
So when you're out, are you building your business in a place that has continuity with mine? And does that make sense? So again, some lenders do pay-per lead, pay-per-click. They're buying mortgage leads. They're doing whatever they're doing. They've got a big book of past clients, or they're networking, or they're relationship based. So I think when you look at you're building a team, even though they may not be your real estate personal sales team. You're building a team, and that team in a perfect world needs to have continuity, because when you hand off the client, you want continuity in vision, values, culture, all of that, right?
right,
So number one, does that person do that? And if they do that and they build and run the business a similar way, you should be able together to figure out a way how to grow the business together. So does that look like we're gonna do joint marketing efforts? Here's what I'll pay for, here's what you pay for. Does it look like I'm gonna give you a lead, you give me a lead, right? What does it look like? But we're gonna do this, we're doing it together. Make sense?
Yeah.
So, but the number one thing is you want continuity and vision and values so that it translates when you hand that client off. If there's a disconnect there, it's like, who was this guy you sent me to? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they feel the pain and disconnect. Because it just doesn't rhyme with all that stuff. But, well, we spent a lot of good time on the newsletter part. So, and that's great because we're a small group. We can talk all we want about this stuff, right? But yes, getting back to you, get it paid for. Okay? Get it paid for sure. Just understand too, the more that you involve with that, you may need to get more creative in space, right? Because you still want enough of the space to where you're delivering the message,
Okay.
where you're delivering the brand, you're still brand dominant as much as possible. But some of them have guidelines, like it's gotta be 50-50,
Yeah,
or
it's
it's
a
gotta be
legal
this or
thing.
that. So it is, it's about percentage of cost. Usually it's about percentage of cost. They may tell you, well, if we do the printing, it's 50-50. It's not really how the law works, but it may be how internally it works for them, and that's the way it may be, right? The law is what it has to be, what the general market would be, right? So if they get a quarter page ad, it has to be that kind of value, whatever that looks like, to the rest that you're offsetting.
Or some of them, it will be, if you get 4 square inches, they have to have 4, like, they can't be little bitty and you're great big.
Right.
Yeah, so it'll just depend, right? I mean, a lot of times, I don't wanna get in the weeds here, but a lot of times I tend to push the envelope because of the fact that you're paying for a postcard that I know you send to digital print house, costs you 6 cents to print that black, full color, both sides. I'm spending 50 cents mailing it. I'm spending 10 times what you are, I get 10 times
Or they
the
have
space.
in-house printing, so it's really not
Right, it's
costing
literally
them.
like they're
Yeah.
at cost, it's pennies
Yeah.
to print. I'm like, you're not spending 50%. If you wanna spend 50%, I'll give you 50% of the space. Until then, show me where you're spending 50%.
50% of my cost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we're gonna split it, let's split it, yeah? But anyway, that's getting in the weeds a little bit, so, but this is definitely something, just
Sorry, let them
Fine.
print it if they want to, if they can do it so stinking cheap and still split cost of postage with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There are
so-
different reasons to look at it, but don't be afraid to have the conversation, right? But at the end of the day, understand you've gotta show where you're adding the value back to the vendor, some way, shape, or form, whether it's in branding, or show them exactly how many pieces they're getting, and then kind of track this stuff as best you can, because when you track it and know better, well, I gave you 10 referrals last year, awesome, that's worth, now it's worth $500 a month to me for my marketing campaign in general.
And
right?
it's really important to track
Boom,
it
boom,
because
boom.
you gotta be able to say, I mean, you gotta, if you ever get audited, even though they will probably get in worse trouble than you, cause they have additional, like laws and things, you just need to be able to show, this is what they paid me for.
Yeah.
And, cause it's not a
Now,
kickback.
could you put it on your website and not ask for any money, like if I just wanted to refer them?
Yeah.
Because that's just who I prefer to go to when I'm in
But
this
you should
town.
have,
Absolutely.
at least 3 people.
Do I need to ask permission before I put them on my website?
I would, because again, why wouldn't you? I mean, part of what you're trying to accomplish is to build value and build the relationship. If you're not, use every opportunity you can to have that dialogue and talk about, here's what I would like to do, here's why I'd like to do it, I respect the way you do business, whatever.
I don't wanna feel like I'm pushing them to give me money so I can put them on my website. 'Cause
No, you
I think
just ask them if you can do it.
Yeah, I think right now,
like, I don't know any people to refer to them, so it's really like, who's
Can we
looking at
even
my
put
website?
that stuff on our website?
Yes.
you can create a
Like a
community
PDF or
page.
something?
Yeah, it's actually,
community page
I'm
in
working
place.
on it right now.
Is
There
that a
is a
bull trail?
preferred,
Okay.
there is a preferred lender list on one of the websites now.
So here's what I want you guys to think about, okay? Whether it be today you're at a sphere of 50, but you've got a goal of 500. Today you've got one vendor, you've got a goal of 10 vendors. You're asking some good questions, but you're ahead of yourself. So it's kind of the same idea of what we do with that gap analysis that I've done so many times, and that is basically, what's my current whatever number of number of
I know where I'm going, I just don't know how to get there.
arm or spear, right? What's the gap? What's the goal? So again, where are you at? And start with where you're at. And that may be, honestly, if you don't have enough relationships and business and things like there to leverage yet, it's just got to be about the relationship at first. But it still can paint a vision. And if you don't know your vision, then really what are you bringing to me? Like, if you're not doing business and you don't have a vision, I'm not going to talk to you. I mean, not to be a dick, but I'm not going to do it, right? It's going to be like, why am I having lunch with you? Like, get clear what it is, and the more clear you get, the more passionate you become about it. And you can articulate that vision. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember when I started my very first office, I was 29 and I borrowed money to start it. I did okay. I did about 70 deals a year at the time, but I still wasn't considered like a rock star in the town. And when I started, or if I went to a new market, let's say when I went to a brand new market, the best thing I was ever able to do was articulate my vision about what I was going to do in that town, what I was going to do with that office, what I was going to do, not so much even that what I was going to do, but what the vision was in general and what the vision needed to succeed at a high level. And then what that vision needed, again, goes back to that little phrase I put on today: you don't build big businesses, you build big people. And I would always go into a new market. So I want you to think about this with your business. If you're talking to vendors, for example, think about what your vision speech is. I would always go in there and I'd say, here's what this is going to look like in 5 years. Whatever, 200 agents, right? $1 billion in sales, whatever it may be. This is what it's going to look like, okay? Now, when this happens, it's not if, right? When this happens, this is going to spawn off a title company, a mortgage company, a real estate investment trust. In order to make that happen at a high level, I need to find 5 builders that want to join me on this journey, right? I'm not looking for 100. I'm not looking for 200 today. I'm looking to find 5 that see and understand where we are going with this and want to be part of it. Understanding today, literally, today I have 3 agents. I will have 200 before I leave. And this is what's going to happen. So what I want to know is, what kind of person are you? Are you the kind of person that has a vision and is willing to work for the vision, or not? It's cool. If you're over here and you want to figure out how to get a couple of deals from these 3 agents, we can talk about that. But what I personally am looking for today is this. Does that fit with something you want in your life, yes or no, right? And so with your vendors, that can be a similar conversation. Yours may be, today, I've got 50 people. Where we're going is 500 business relationships or B2B relationships with HR company, whatever, right? But you've got to get so clear on it and own it and know why. And so today, what it may look like, Bob, today, it may look like you going on my website with a link, just so we can kind of start trading a little bit of free marketing like that. What then will probably start to transition to is mailer campaigns, right? Pay-per-click or social media
And
management.
is it okay
et
to
cetera,
do
et
the
cetera.
free part on the website right now and then transition after I get double the 50,
It
so
is.
I get 100, and
It
then
is.
start going, well, now I'm going to need more money. I'm gonna need money for
Paint the vision up front. Paint the vision up front. Okay? Say when we hit these, here's what's gonna happen. Right? So again, I'm looking for this person here that understands this vision, even though we're starting here. So when we get here, it's gonna take more from both of us. Because we've gone from 50 to 100. We've gone from 100 to 200. We're going from 200 to 500. And I really, really don't want to have to reinvent all of this on every level. So can you see yourself being part of this journey and being committed enough to reinvest as we grow to hit this bigger vision, yes or no?
Okay.
Right? Or if not, again, that's cool. Today we're here, right? but you don't wanna stay there. I mean, you don't. Personally, if they say, I'd rather just stay here and see how it goes, not the right fit.
Then you don't want them on there, because they're not gonna build anything.
Nope.
I will say there is a challenge, not to be negative, I'm not being negative, I'm just saying, you know, and to help you figure out how to get where you wanna go the quickest. There is a challenge between some lenders are big enough already that they've got bigger fish that they're attracted to, and some of them are small enough, they might be great to grow with you, but they don't understand the vision. Like, you gotta keep looking for the one that's just right for you.
Yeah, keep looking.
Well,
I mean, keep looking.
There's new vendors every day, just like there's new realtors.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
there's
Also,
literally
though,
a dime a dozen.
be careful of having a brand new lender, cause they can really screw you on deals.
Well, who their
all my
team
lenders
is,
are
and all that.
much-
Yeah.
All my lenders that I like to work with, they've been in the business for a really long time, so I'm the little fish on the totem.
Well, and Carly is new, but she is so, like her work ethic and the way that she works and her thoroughness and her willingness to ask, you know, for checks and from, you know, other people within her company.
She's a new lender, but she was a business owner for years
Well,
before,
yes.
so it makes a difference.
Yeah, exactly. She knows how to own a business and run a business and all of that.
Here's what you're, again, looking for, is you're looking for builders.
Mhm.
You're looking for people, and in most of these spaces, whether it be lending, real estate, insurance, a common thread is that they're commission-based. I will say the ones that are historically salary-based are not a right fit.
Yeah.
They're also usually salary-based because they're at a company that has tighter restrictions. And they don't reward producers. Producers build, producers would rather be on commission. They're like, I'm gonna
There's
go
something to
out,
be said for that person
I'm gonna
who's
go
super
build
complacent,
this, right?
just sitting at a
So-
bank.
Huh?
Someone that's super complacent, just being on salary, sitting at the bank, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, not allowed to work past 5, probably not gonna go out and like beat the streets.
That's what I'm getting
They're
at,
not your
right?
wedding partner.
That's what I'm getting at, is they're not gonna grow and build because they have no incentive to grow and build. They're either comfortable or they don't know what they want or they're not willing to take that next step, right, to go where they want. Talent finds a way to get rewarded more. And talent is what you wanna find, somebody that's willing to go out there with you and buy into your vision, right? And so they can be newer, but if they've got a background where they've already kind of shown a track record of success in other industries or anything along that line, man, I can't even remember. I was talking to somebody the other day, and their background has been self-employed 20 years. Their family made a move here due to some challenges they had with a failed business, so they're temporarily working a salaried job. But they will, in no time, they will be out of that and back on their own as soon as some baseline is covered, right?
Right.
So,
I would rather work with somebody who has had several failed businesses and kept going and made it
Yeah.
work than somebody who's never had a failed business.
Yeah.
and I will say in that, if you already know that, they're a person that already has vision.
Yeah.
Because they are committed to an idea of self-employment or entrepreneurship or anything like that. And they may be brand new in lending, but they've got a good team around them, right? They've got good underwriting, you know who they're getting mentored by, all that stuff. You can punt the ball up if you need to, somebody higher up, great, pull them in early. So whatever it is, but that's what you wanna find, and you find, again, those 5 or 6 people that are builders, whether it's for your sales team, or whether we were talking about on our call this morning, whether it's the agent attraction piece, you get 4 or 5 builders, your life changes, right? Because they're part of that unity, that team. So that's how you get all this stuff going to a next level. That's how you get more people in your sphere that you don't have right now. How you get more people to your sphere, the whole thing. So anyway, the baseline, once a month, newsletters, getting back to it, okay? Newsletters. After that, twice a month, some type of either email, whether it be an e-newsletter, whether it be an evidence of success, meaning just sold, just listed, or if you're really relationship focused, stories about your clients. That sells better than, I sold 123 Main Street. What did you do for Susie? What was her situation? How did you help her have an amazing experience, right?
And you have
That
to get their
stuff,
permission for that, though.
But if you had them get an amazing experience, they're going to, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's cool. They'll let you write the story. You just give it to them and say, are you cool if I send this out, right? Some of them will make tweaks, some of them won't. But again, if you're really servicing and serving them, they're gonna say, yeah, cool, right? Or they may write it for you. It just depends. We found that a lot of the great people that we work with are busy, and they say they'll do it, and they don't. So we've gotten to the point where like, do you mind if I write something up and send it to you for approval? Right? And I'm like, yeah.
On those rare occasions where you do get someone that nothing personal to you, but they're like, I'd rather you not, because they don't like to be on Facebook, or or they adopted a kid, or whatever the case may be, you can always say, I had a client today, and no name. And just still tell a story about something great you did to help a client that was in a, like I had one I closed last month that we looked for 2 years and a week. 2 years and a week, and I failed to write the Facebook post about it, but I should have.
I do that all the time.
And you still can, right? I mean,
Information.
the public doesn't know when you close it or when they didn't,
True.
right? So you can still share the story. So evidence of success are a great thing that really go out there and tell your story, things along that line. So you've got one physical copy a month, you've got one digital copy a month, that's 24, right? There's 24 contacts. And you set it up to where it's easy to manage, right? So you can plan all this in advance, you can schedule it for the whole year, and you're pretty much done. So what we tend to try to do is, again, a perfect calendar, right? What we try to do is the 1st and the 15th. So we just know, I need to be getting my newsletters out, it's 1st of the month. I need to be getting my e-newsletter out the 15th of the month. You can use services and set them up, or you can pre-write them and use schedulers and, you know, send them out automatically, things along that line. But either way, get it set up, get it in your calendar. Then you've got your quarterly phone call. What this is doing is, this is building your Jello brand, right? This is consistently, that means that's 24 a year, that's every 2.5 weeks on average, they're getting your branding, they're getting your messaging, they're seeing the Jello brand coming across all the time, and you're always going in the brain, right? And so when you get the phone call, you don't have to explain who you are or what you do. The phone call is just a phone call, because this has done that other piece for you. So that if you run into them at church, they're already getting all these things. You don't have to remind them. Most people miss deals out of their sphere or out of past clients because they are no longer top of mind. That's it. You're just no longer top of mind. That is so easy to fix with 24 touches.
Yeah.
Right? So this then is where the magic happens. This is where the relationship, you need to go get some coffee, girl. Am I that boring today?
No,
She
I
has
have
a
a migraine. I
Oh,
have
I'm
a
sorry.
migraine.
I should probably tone it down.
No, you're fine. I'm not having problems with noise. It makes my eyes roll.
Okay. So, I'm glad it's not just me.
It's not.
Glad it's not me
Took
today.
medicine already.
Yeah. Do you have a muscle relaxer?
I do.
Actually, yes,
That's
I do.
hilarious.
Okay.
Sure I do.
This is on video.
Oh,
Alright, I'm gonna go.
Get them out. This is what we do.
This is
DXP.
what we do. Here
Come
are the
on.
drugs.
Gotta do what you gotta do to get
I actually
it.
have to go
You
to the
do.
pharmacy
You
after
do what
this
you
to
gotta
pick up mine.
So this is where the magic happens in the phone call, because it is the dialogue, right? It is the actual chance to have the conversation. And again, we've talked about how we try to do our quarterly phone calls with 2 different sets of calls. But ultimately, again, at the end of the day, the biggest driver is just to build the relationship. You're not calling to get an appointment or to get a listing, right? Those are great outcomes, or to get a referral, great outcomes, but ultimately it's strengthening the relationship. However, with that being said, I do recommend 2 types of phone calls and alternating them. So quarter 1 call may be, hey Stacy, Jeff Bonham here. Just been a few months since we've actually talked. How are things going in your world? Is there anything I can help with, right? Right? Anything at all. How's your business? How are your kids? Well, and just going into the relationship, period. Not asking for one lick of business ever in that call.
Right.
They will probably ask, well, how's real estate going? And say, you know what's going really amazing? Things are killing it right now. I didn't call you today about real estate, but it's going really, really well. Thanks for asking. And that's really it, right? The next, and they may have a referral for you, great. The next call though is your business ask. My opinion is, don't ask for business on every call. Because what happens then is you've just diminished the value of the personal
You
relationship.
won't answer their phone.
Over time, they're like, you're just calling me for business. So that call, that's why we say alternate. One of them just needs to be talking bull, right? How are you doing? What's up? I saw on Facebook you went to Cabo. How was Cabo, right? And just really talking to them like a human being talks to another human being. And then the next call can be a business one, but that one will be set up by me saying, hey Stacy, Jeff Bonham here. I really want to catch up with you, hear about the family, the kids and everything about that. But today's call is about business. Do you have 5 minutes?
No.
And shut up and let them answer yes or no. That way they know when I'm calling and what I'm calling for, right? And then the business call would be whatever my business purpose is for that day. You know, it could be because I want to talk about something as a lead in of what's going on in the market. Hey, I didn't know if you heard, but XYZ happened. You know, or the market's doing this right now, and as a result, we're experiencing this. And I'm calling to see if you know anybody that's looking for expertise service like us and help them navigate through that challenge going on right now. And usually they'll say, no, not really. And then you go to a little bit layer deeper and you say, what about somebody at your office? Right? Or what about somebody that you know, your kid plays soccer with? Any of those families that you can think of? Right? So you prod more specifically. It kind of goes even in those calls, or even in an open house or anything scripting wise when you're thinking about business, the more specific you make the trigger, the better a response you get. It's kind of like if you go into retail, you go in any retail store, what a lot of people say is, can I help you with anything?
You say, nope.
And your reaction is no, right? But
Are you
what if
looking
they
for anything
prod,
in particular today?
sometimes they'll go, no, I'm not. But sometimes the good ones will go deeper and say, well, you're in here and you're in the women's department. Are you looking more for a blouse or for pants today? You're gonna pick one of those answers, right? Or you're gonna say, well, no, not really. I'm honestly here just to kind of check out some shoes, whatever, right? Or I've got 30 minutes to kill and I'm just killing time. But you're gonna give a deeper level response than our gut response. Same things happens when you're asking for referrals or when you're talking to people in an open house, right? Well, you're obviously in this neighborhood today. Are you just killing time, right? Or are you guys needing a little bit more space? Or are you looking at downsizing? Or are you looking for your first home? The more specific you get, the better quality answer you'll get. Does that make sense? So that's the second call. And then you go back, the third call is relationship focused. And then the fourth call, business focused. So you separate the two and you don't muddy the waters, okay? So that all of a sudden, that's 12 contacts in the newsletter, 12 in the digital piece, that's 24. Your 4 phone calls, right, that's 28. You're gonna drop a note in the mail after you talk to them, handwritten ink, blue ink. Hey, so great talking to you. Love hearing about little Joey and Susie,
Yes.
right? Whatever, drop it in the mail, stamp, note card, have it ready, boom, that goes out. So that's another 4 if you get them on the phone. But let's say at least a couple more contacts because you talk to them. So that's 30 contacts right there, 24, 28, 30 to 32. And then your events, this is again where vendors play an important part. You should not be spending much of anything on your event. A lot of people are like, I can't do a client event, I don't have the money. You're thinking about it wrong. Leverage your people. You're getting them in front of your people. That's worth money. Even like these
And they're
little
bringing their people.
little things we do. And yes, and you ask them,
Bring your people.
bring your people, right? And then you're meeting more people. Have a sign in, a registration. Have somebody, not you want to work the room. Have your kid, your spouse, have somebody work the table and check people in, add them if they're new, get all their information, prompt it with a drawing or something that's gonna happen at the event. We're gonna enter you into this drawing, right? So get their information
I
and
got a lot of kickback at that last open house I just did with having people sign in. I've never had so many people like appalled that I asked them to sign
That
in.
happens to me every time I
But
do
then
one.
I was like, I said, well, do you want strangers walking through your house and not knowing who they are?
Yep.
And they were like, oh, no. And I said, so not only is it a way for us to track who's been in the house and to make sure that, you know, we don't miss anything, but it's also a way for us to get back in contact with you and make sure that, you know, we get good feedback from your walkthrough today.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, I've really never, most people are
Yeah, I've never had
much more
anybody say,
compliant with it, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I've never had.
it may have been a full moon that day, you know, but yeah, we don't tend to have too much pushback.
It's
But
you,
a lot-
Rachel.
but
It's definitely
I
you.
had my kid there too, she was doing great, I'm like,
This is how I heard it, yeah. But a lot of it may just be that, an off day, right? But keep doing and keep asking for the information. At the events, it's really no big deal, right? 'Cause you're inviting them to an event.
Yeah.
Most of us expect, I think, in some way that there's a
Just sign
price of entry. And the price of entry is we're trying to grow our business. We'd like to know who you are, so we follow up, right? And you could even have a checkbox, would you like to receive information from us, yes or no, right? Great. But those events, you're gonna get the invitation sent out, that's a touch, right? You're gonna get the event itself, that's a touch. And then you're gonna get that post-event follow-up, which is either gonna be, generally speaking, like if you've gotten it really kind of in a cool spot and you make a bunch of photos from the event, and you invite people to come and they can download photos, right, or whatever else from the event. Hey, if you saw a cute one of your family, go in there, download it for free, I click this landing page. If you missed it, go check it out, and you'll see all the fun that we have with it, right, whatever. But that's the 3 more touches, so that's 6 more between 2 events, right? Invite, event, follow-up, and then another event, invite, and follow-up. So right there, you're at roughly 40 contacts with something that's relatively systematized, that's pretty easy to manage, and there is no chance you aren't gonna be, if you're not Jell-O, you're Royal, right? I mean, you're one of 2 gelatin brands.
Geez, at least you're great value, at least
Yeah.
you're not Jell-O.
You're up there,
getting
you're in the brain space of where you need to be. And when you get in that brain space, what we keep kind of going on and drilling down on, oh, these are different things you can do within your newsletters or how to grow your database, right? So housewarming parties, monthly happy hours, contests, giveaways, picnics, photo shoots, Easter Bunny Day, Santa Claus Day, whatever, right? Things along that line. But find just one. So if you're not ready to do 2 this year, fine, but do 1. Even if it's small. When we first moved back from Florida, we really didn't have a database anymore. I've been gone for 10, 11 years. Our first happy hour, we invited 12 people. That was it, but we did it. You know what I mean? It's just, part of it's just doing it. And then almost in a way, starting small like that helped because we figured out all the crap we forgot about. Like, oh, well, we didn't do this. We didn't have this set up. We didn't think about whatever, right? So just start with it and then figure out what you're going to refine on it. And then understand, again, what's your vision going to be of a someday? Start small, but think about it someday. So Cindy DiTiani, who's a past coaching client of mine out in Kansas City, she's in Leawood. She does an annual movie theater event that now invites roughly 1,000 of her past clients to it. She's got, on average, 250 to 300 that show up every year to it. The theater is packed with just her people. She does a presentation at the beginning. The vendors pay for everything. The giveaways are like top notch, like a 7-day cruise type giveaways.
Oh my.
You know, like it's a real deal, right? So, but that's built over time. But now it's to where the vendors that have done it, most of them had a good experience. They want to do it again. So every year it gets easier and easier for her. It's more about her picking a date and a show that they want to watch, right? And then she calls the theater up, and starting about 90 days out, 60 to 90 days out, all the other stuff behind the scenes starts working. What are the giveaways? Who's paying what? Do we have the invites ready? What are the dates set? Do we have a big enough space in the theater? All of that workflow. But again, now it's a checklist for her. She's done it for 15 years. Make sense? So it gets easier and easier, but it starts with maybe 10 or 12 people, and just do it.
You should do that, and
Just do
we
it.
should show the movie Money Pit.
That would be a funny one. That would be a funny
Oh my
one.
gosh,
Yeah.
yes, that's so
That would be a funny one. I mean, you guys can have like a pet the cow day thing, you know? I mean, whatever. Like
Oh.
4x4 did a Moos and Brews event,
Yeah, they did.
right?
Yeah.
So they
We
brought
don't
out
even
some
have baths. We
calves.
just have to give them baths.
Yeah, they brought out calves. The kids wanted to play with the calves. They did like, cornhole stuff around it and Moos and Brews. I thought that was brilliant. That's great.
That is a really
Just little things like that you can think of that are something different. And the less, in my opinion, the less it's tied to a holiday, the better, because you're not competing with other events or things going on. Just have it be a random Tuesday or Wednesday or Saturday and get those things
I
invited.
like to kind of think of our careers as a constant party and shopping spree.
Yeah.
So like, we get to throw lots of parties,
Yeah.
and we get to go shopping all the time with other people's money.
Yeah.
So I try to keep it like that when I'm shopping for houses for people. I'm like, let's spend that money.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go. Let's have
How
some
many
fun.
houses have
We're
you
going
bought?
shopping
Well, let
today.
me tell you.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go shopping. No, I love it. So start thinking about, again, your list with your sphere. What are you going to do that you think your people would enjoy? Okay. So we try to do 2 different pieces, right? So we've got our adult themed kind of, that sounds bad. We've got our,
I'm like, what did I just walk into?
Right?
we've got our grown-up events, right? We've got our 21 plus events. That may be the happy hour or the art gallery combined with happy hour type of thing. And then we've got what we're getting ready to do this summer coming up is our family picnic day, which is gonna have all the bounce houses, the cornhole stuff, the smoker out there, but more family focused, right? Less about the party thing, more about
Yes.
less love on the family. So, but there are two different groups, because you got another group of people that just are like, man, I don't wanna be around all that, right? But they love just coming to have a happy hour for an hour or two and do something different. So, and there are people you can leverage through these different things. So start thinking about, who do you know as business owners that you can add value to them, maybe to their venue, and say, here's what I'm doing today. It's gonna start with 10 or 12 people, but within a couple of years, I'm gonna have a couple hundred people at this event. So let's help brainstorm this. What can we do together to help promote your restaurant or your bar or your art gallery or whatever, starting small, but with the idea of having an event for my clients, maybe your people too. I envision whatever, wine tastings, chair massages, a night at the gallery, maybe a local artist that's, they're speaking on behalf of their artwork. Can you envision this idea I have, and would you be willing to help me do this? And we'll do it maybe on an off night where it's just you normally are shut down, we open it up, it's free. Would you be cool with that, right? Yes or no? Right? So we had a restaurant guy that on Monday nights let us use his place because it was normally closed. He provided free appetizers, which is awesome. Cash bar. He made a hell of a lot more money on drinks than on appetizers anyway, right? So cash bar. I'm like, it's gonna start out small, dude, like 12 people.
Jeff, did you go to the one up in, Clinton last couple weeks ago?
No, I was gone, but I heard at the country club.
Yeah,
No.
the
Oh, I hate
lender
when I miss
paid
that.
for everything. Paid
Yeah.
for the open bar, paid for the food, paid for everything.
Wow.
And I think, and that was a good turnout too, right? I think
The lender.
sometimes they start that way, sometimes they won't, right? But
It was
again,
directed towards recruiting, but it's the same idea.
yeah, it's all the same idea. You're exactly right. And it's about getting people to buy in a part of that vision. And that guy got it, and he was willing to spend it in front of it, and hopefully, out of that, he's built relationships, and next year, he'll wanna do it again. Or in 6 months, he'll wanna do it again. But think about, again, what you already have, people you already know, that may be willing to help you with this, okay? And start building your system out and growing from there. And then the biggest thing too is when you get an opportunity, when you get a referral, stop rewarding people at the time of closing.
Yes.
Too many people are doing it. First of all, too many agents aren't even given a thank you for the referral at all. Second of all, they're waiting until it closes. They're like, well, it didn't close. Why should I? Because the person did their job. They gave us an introduction. It's our job to convert it or close it. Doesn't matter if we convert it or close it, they did their job. So what is my referral system what is my reward system for the referral, okay? So start thinking about that. State to state's different with laws, there's my little disclaimer, okay? But in all reality, if you're a friend of mine and you introduce me to somebody, there's nothing against the law of me thanking you for, you introduced me to somebody I just got to meet.
Just a coffee.
Coffee, dinner, date night for you and your spouse. Doesn't matter. I'm saying thank you. I'm not paying you for the business. Has nothing to do with the business.
So that's how you're really getting around.
I'm not getting around anything, right? I am thanking somebody that's part of my life, that's making an improvement in my life, and I wanna send them a thank you. That really is it. Because again, it's not tied to transaction. Does that make sense?
Yes,
If you get in trouble,
after.
if you're doing it because of the transaction, number one, that's where you can get in trouble. And number two is you miss the point, right? If you do that, because the point is that person did their job regardless of the outcome. And so it sounds bad, but it's like training a dog. I mean, it's very Pavlovian in the sense that you reward the behavior, right? So you reward the behavior that you want to reward. And the behavior is, I want you to introduce me to people.
Right.
And if you do, I'm going to reward you. Now, I don't tell them, I don't go around saying, hey, if you introduce me to somebody looking to buy or sell, I'm going to give you $50. That's not it. That also loses power. If you go back to all the psychologists and all that, it's actually the unexpected reward that makes the behavior happen more often, because the little mouse doesn't know how many times he has to hit it for the treat to come out, so he starts hitting it more to get the treat. So it's if you do it every time, yeah, it's. I know, but it's true. We're animals just like anything else.
No, I know. I know that subject more in depth in that particular, because that's dog training.
Yeah, well, some of it is, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking also occupational therapy. I was a neuroscience major, by the way,
Yeah.
for people didn't know that.
That's
So-
why you're so good at what you do.
I don't know. That's why I'm so messed
Neuroscience.
up. That's why I'm so messed up. But I will say within all
I
that
need to know.
is that we just want to make sure that as soon as they're giving us that information, what is our system? It's a system, right? All of this is a system. That's what I want you to get really clear on is, do you have to think about it right now?
No.
What do you do? Somebody gives you a referral, what do you do?
Call them and say thank you.
That's good.
Maybe if you have like I have one right now, he referred his brother-in-law to me, and then sometimes I'll call and give him an update, be like, I'm sure you talked to him, but just to let you know, we're about to close on the second property here, so.
Yeah. Follow us big, right? Because again, if they handed you that referral and you didn't do anything with it, or they don't know what you did with it, or they don't know if you followed up, or they don't know where they're at in the journey, the better you are making them part of the journey, the more likely they're gonna refer you in the future. So that's big. Do you automatically send a handwritten note? People don't get blue ink anymore. Do you automatically send a handwritten note? Do you have 10 of them sitting in your desk pre-written? And just filling in their name. Have a bunch of the pens that you get from Hogan or Meridian, right? Do you drop a $5 Travelers gift card in there for Travelers Coffee? Do you, if they give you three or four or five that year, does anything escalate?
Actually, never.
Right? Do they go from getting a Travelers Coffee to getting a Alamo gift card? Does it elevate next because you keep track of your CRM so well you know what their favorite restaurant is? Do they get a date night at their favorite restaurant for the third or fourth?
And these are all things, like when I take notes in here, Natalie knows, she reads my notes. They're very in-depth sometimes, like we'll be talking on the phone and I'll be just typing what they say, what did they do? Is their mom in the hospital? Like, yada, yada, yada. So that way when I call them back, I'm not, like, I have that conversation and I can catch back up with them.
Yeah.
Been very much trying to do that better.
Getting that, and then getting that in your CRM, right? And adding the fields to things like this. So we have a form, a one pager that when we do a buyer consultation or after we've signed a listing agreement, says, give me the scoop. It's got a little picture of ice cream cone, something goofy on there. But it says, give me the scoop. And it asks them these questions. Tell me about your kids, their ages, what are they into? What's your favorite place? What's your favorite thing to do in your spare time? What's your favorite restaurant? What's your favorite movie theater? And it's just like 10 or 15 things. It's really quick. But that then goes back in the CRM so that when you're doing the rewarding or just having a conversation with them, and it's not even about the reward. Hey, I remember us talking last time, you said Jim's your favorite restaurant. You guys had a chance to go there lately? How was it? Was it still as good as you remember? Whatever, right? But it's touch points, but it's also your referral points. The more specific you can be with your referral behaviors, reward system, the more it's gonna make an impact on them. It goes beyond a $5 gift card to Starbucks that says, thanks a latte, right? It goes to the next level that says, I pay attention to you.
Is there a way, do you know, in Bold Trail to add a PDF to your contact? I'm like looking through here and I can't, that would be cool if there was a way to attach a PDF.
I don't know. I really don't know that. I'm not in Bold Trail anymore. I'm gonna shift back to it, but I don't know.
I am
because
too.
we're getting in.
I've never used Lofty, never could get into it.
Yeah, I don't care for it.
Okay.
So. we're
Plus,
getting
everything's
in.
an upcharge.
That's, I
When
liked
we
it
need it,
visibly
because I
better,
cut back,
but
I can't afford her all the time.
So we actually have shifted a lot of our CRM over, honestly, to a very simple CRM, but it allows us to add fields. And so in that, we're trying to mirror more of our style of business, which is mainly referral. Even though we run kind of our investment division, it's a private investment division, like we're not going out to the whole world. So we've got 60 investors, so I've got those with their tags, and then we've got our 300 or so retail type of people, and those tags and those fields. So it becomes more hyper-focused, right?
Sure.
So just think about, again, with your business, what can you manipulate within Bold Trail? Can you add fields? A lot of them, it does allow you to add a field. So you might look at that and see if it allows you to add a field,
You should come with
a
me.
custom fields, and then figure that out and then make that so Am I going to start doing this? Am I going to start adding on information about their kids and I want to field about their kids and ages, right? And maybe what they're into. Am I going to add restaurants or hobbies? And again, it's just good talking points, right? If nothing else, it's good talking points. But I want you to start thinking about taking this to the next level of type of referral or reward system is, what can I do the second I get that? Even if it's just that branded handwritten note card that says RachelRocks.com, right? Boom, dropping that thing out immediately to where they get it and it becomes a system.
Cards right now.
Okay?
Of Rachel Rocks.
So
Yes, the Rachel Rocks card.
yeah,
That's
what
I'm
I was gonna,
ordering.
you should owe me for that. So how are you gonna reward your advocate? And again, they are an advocate. If they've given you a referral, and the better you reward them, the more likely they'll continue to be an advocate. The better you communicate about the journey that the client they referred to you, they're gonna trust you even more, right? So I love it. I love it. Keep doing all that, okay?
Okay.
So build it out, automate it as much as possible. A lot of that's really gonna be more about in the information piece and the newsletters and the e-newsletters. That's really where your automation is. The phone calls and the events aren't about automating. What they are about is automating maybe the reminders, right? Okay, 90 days out from our predicted start date of the event, I need to start having X happen. So that can be automated, but a lot of it's gonna be still more, personal action based. Same thing with the phone calls. You can automate the reminder to call these 10 people today,
But you still
these
gotta
10
get a
people
phone.
90 days from now, these 10 people 180 days from now, right? And make that's the thing about the quarterly phone calls, don't get lazy on that and say, where I've seen this really screwed up is people create a quarterly call plan and they do a mass update in their database. And that mass update assigns everybody, right? Oh, you're not gonna call your whole sphere on one day. You're gonna skip or delete or whatever, and you're just not gonna do it. So the challenge is either sitting down purposefully and saying, I'm going through sort of the letter A, and I'm putting all of the letter A in today, or I'm gonna put 10 people in today, whatever works easiest for you. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna call these people today. And then I'm gonna start my action plan today for these 10 people. And then I'm gonna take the next 10 or letter B or whatever, and I'm gonna start the action plan tomorrow. So if your CRM allows you to future pace it, meaning I'm gonna start the quarterly call plan on 4/23/26, April 23rd, great. You can sit down, have an admin or somebody build the whole plan out within a few days, right? If you're gonna do it yourself and wanna manage it, you may need to set in there and literally today, call these 10 people today and start the action plan today for those 10 people. And then tomorrow when you wake up, call your 10 people and start the action plan for the day. Kind of depends on how your CRM works, okay? But that way, I don't care if you double your business, you're never gonna be prompted for more than 20 people that day. And 20 people, let's do some quick math. So 20 people every quarter, let's say you're calling Monday through Thursday, that's 80 a week, times 13 weeks in a quarter. Let's say you take a week off every single quarter, 4 weeks of vacation a year, times 12, right? That's 960 people in your database. That's a huge database, never having to call more than 20 people a day. And of those 20 people, you're not gonna probably talk to 5 or 6 of them, right?
You're just gonna leave them.
They're gonna leave them a voicemail and they'll call you back or they won't, but they heard your voice, right? So that's a huge database, that's 100 deals a year. That's 100 deals a year. So, I mean, you're not gonna get overwhelmed ever at any point in time. You can manage a big database just doing that, right? So,
Okay,
setting that up is where a lot of people get bogged down. They don't get that set up right.
so that's 960 people a quarter, 20 people a day,
Monday through Thursday.
and then you are also calling all the new people and everybody else, and oh my god.
What new people?
But you're not
Leads?
talking to 20 people a day.
Yeah, you're talking to
Leads
5 or
Out of
6.
and
Out of
leads
20,
and
I may get 1 or 2 that
clients.
She has a
actually answer the
migraine.
phone.
Yeah.
I
She
want,
has a migraine.
I need a phone surgically inserted into my noggin.
Yes.
That probably helped the
Because I
migraine.
can't ever not be on the phone.
I mean, that's what this business is.
Yeah.
So, it's, yeah, and again,
She means that lovingly.
and again, Natalie, where are you at? Do you have
I
960
did know I
people?
don't, but like this is horrifying to me.
You're gonna have your 100 people, and that's gonna be literally like 4 people a day.
Yeah.
That'll take you 5 minutes to call 4 people, because you won't
Yes.
talk to any of them probably. You might get one, and you talk to them, and one or two may call you back later, right?
Well, and I send some
Just throughout the
texts
day.
too.
You do what?
I do send some texts.
Well, if it works for you. I mean, I'm not here to say don't do that. I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. But the magic is in the conversation, not in the text, right? So think about how to make all that happen, okay? And consider how you're gonna use AI for your content creation, for your whether it's evidence of success, for your just listed, just sold verbiage, for your newsletter every month. Use it. Use the tools that we have. Use Claude or use Chat, but get that stuff and get it going, okay? But that's it. If you have questions, go use my guy. Go use my coach guy. Okay?
I forgot he existed.
Yeah, he exists.
We
No.
like the original so much,
Right.
we just aren't interested in Jeffrey 2.0.
Well, when we're
I'm
all,
with whatever makes me money.
well, that's free for now. Let's take advantage of it. Okay. So that's how you get rapidly up to that close to 40 touches. That's how you do that. And out of this, again, the simple math is as you're running, it's 10% conversion rate. So if we're talking about 24 deals a year times 10, how many people do you need in your database to do 24 deals? 240. 24 times 10. It's 240. Our average commission is $7,500 per deal right now. So that's a $250,000 sale, right?
Everybody wants to
So,
spend $120,000
so-
on a house right now.
I know, right?
so I mean that's not what we're running into, right? And so I think that the market average is the market average. I don't make that
Yeah,
up,
no,
right?
I know.
The market's 250. So if you have enough people, you will ultimately meet the market average. People that have super high average sales prices on average, they aren't doing a ton of marketing. They're hitting a certain segment of population. People that are low aren't having a certain segment of the population because their reach isn't big enough. As your reach gets big enough, you automatically start to get closer to the market average. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So at that point, 7,500 times 24 deals, that's almost 200 grand a year. Right? That's where I'm saying you don't need to compete with Springfield. You need to find 250 people that
Like
you
you?
become jello with, right? That they automatically, you're number one or number two. And if you're not there yet, that's where you go back to everything. I always keep drawing this out in every different segment of lead gen. This is where you do your gap, right? So again, everything's about where you want to be. What's your future goal? And what's your current? That's all this is, and it's you figuring out how to get from there to there. How are you gonna fill the gap? How are you gonna fill it? So you figure out if I've got 80 people now, my goal is to hit that 240 so I can do 24 deals and make 180 grand a year. If I wanna do that, how am I gonna fill it? And then set yourself a timeline and an action plan that you go back and you put on the 411 for this week's actions, right? Well, that's 160 gap. If I want to fill it in 1 year, that's 3 people a week. That's it. That's 3 people, 52 weeks, right? Times 3 is 156. That's pretty damn close to 160. So how am I going to fill that gap? Well, I need to meet 3 people this week. Okay, great. How am I going to meet 3 new people this week? I'm going to go to 3 networking events, or I'm going to go do 2 open houses, or I'm going to go just talk with people at gas stations. I mean, whatever, right? 3 people a week. So that's what would then go on your 411 and saying this week, I'm gonna add 3 new people in my database.
Hey, I only need 1 more for that.
Okay,
I met 2 in the past.
so,
You met 2 in the pot store.
okay. Questions,
Hang out in the
questions,
pot store parking lot.
okay? Questions, I've already talked about that. Set up coffees, set up your coffees with your existing sphere, or at least a phone call if you don't wanna do coffees. But set up meetings and get purposeful about this. Okay, start getting in the habit of talking to your sphere on a more consistent basis. Plain and simple, okay? If you haven't talked to them for a while, or you haven't talked to them about real estate, straight up, talk to them about real estate. Remind them you're in real estate. If you know they've done or bought or sold ever, tell them you'd like to pick their brain about their experience because you want to build an amazing real estate organization, right? You want to deliver world-class service, so you want to pick their brain. That's it. That's a simple conversation to have. But it re-engages it, brings back up the real estate fact of what you do for a living, and it allows you to learn from them about what they like or don't like and how you can start to tailor your customer experience to meet your audience's expectations. Does that make sense? And what you want to do, like whether you're building an organization, like a agent attraction organization or a sales team organization, I want you to start thinking about what we do when we would go into a new market before and launch an office, what we always tried to look at was benchmarking. And we called it guerrilla marketing. What we look at is what are our top competitors in the marketplace, who are they, and what do they excel at? Most of them are known for one or two or three things. So what are they really known for? And then what do I want to be the best at in a relationship? It doesn't have to be all three, right? But what do I want to become known for? And I benchmark that competitor and I exceed that competitor, whatever it is. Does that make sense? So in a way, what you're doing, if you start to kind of poll your audience, what are they looking for? What are they desiring? What experiences do they have? What do you want to become known as being the best at? Is it communication? Is it getting the best deal? Is it helping them find deals off market? Is it wealth building? Is it the most fun? I mean, whatever it is, right? What are they looking for? What do you want to become the best at? And that almost in a way can come back and help you define your UVP from earlier. What's your value proposition? And get really clear on it.
I want mine to be communication.
Okay, so you need to learn how to articulate it. Like, what is it? And understanding when you talk to your people, ask them, say, Stacy, here's what I hear constantly is I hear people want great communication. What I've come to learn is that great communication means something different to everybody. So tell me what that means to you, right? And start to learn what it means to them, and then you can tailor your plan around that. So one thing we used to do, and we've gotten away from it, but we probably should add back in, is in our listings, we had a communication guarantee. And what the communication guarantee said, we will reach out to you every single week while you're listed, or you can fire us on the spot.
That's
Okay? So, but even within that, you want to kind of figure out what's that even mean? What's communication mean? Does it mean I have to talk to you? Does it mean I leave you a voicemail? Does it mean I send you an email? Get clear on it, but either way, start to separate yourself a little bit and think about
It's like
the things
that
you hear
question
about.
from the doctor's office, what's your preferred method of communication?
Yes.
We asked that in our listing presentation. It's one of the 2-pager that we talk about, how do I win with you, how do I lose with you? That process, what makes it a 10, 10 plus plus. But all of that, in that, how do I win and lose with you, we ask, what is your preferred method of communication? Right? Do you like a phone call? Do you like email? Do you like text?
And then what happens
What do
when
you
none of those actually work?
Well,
I'm
you
just
do
gonna
whatever they
drop
ask
by your
for.
house.
You do whatever they ask for.
Yeah.
That's it. You do whatever they ask for,
Yeah.
right? And you go from there. So, okay. But this is a way you can start it if you haven't engaged your sphere at all. You can have some of these conversations and start to set expectations with them, okay? In the old days, we did a breakout and you actually set coffees. We're not gonna do that today. What time is it anyway?
It is 1:30.
Okay. So we're wrapping up. We're getting close to being done. By the way, if you guys want, you two that came in the back table, there are tamales.
Were they good?
Yeah, homemade.
They were tasty. A little dry, but they were tasty.
Well, there's no stuff with them. Usually you have like beans or cheese or sour cream or salsa or something to go with them.
Yeah, she didn't have any toppings.
Yeah, they're tasty.
And,
Well, I was
and,
able to eat it, so it was fine. It was great.
and it was not complimentary. We had to pay for it. So there was a misunderstanding. Actually, no, Rachel, because Rachel paid for it.
No,
So,
no.
yeah.
I told Ernesto it is free,
I
so that she
understand it was
can,
not free. So just follow
then
up with that.
Ernesto will be repaying me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So Ernesto was outside and she pulled out her Stripe thing, was her to charge.
How much was
So,
it?
$30.
Oh,
$3 a piece.
that's not bad.
Yeah.
I was like,
Wasn't $100, but it was $30.
yeah,
Just so you know. Okay. So again, looking at the Pareto principle of the 80-20 rule, we've talked about the 80-20 rule a lot. That is, again, 20% of your activities drive 80% of your results, right? 20% of your leads will drive 80% of your money. All these different things. So, and your 20% is not only, your 20% ultimately is building your sphere. That will be your 20% of driving long-term foundational business that you enjoy. You wake up with a little less stress. It'll come from a sphere going deep, okay? The 20% of the 20% are those quarterly phone calls, okay? Because the other stuff's automated. That does your branding, but the referral magic tends to happen on the call or at the lunch or, you know, at the in-person networking event or whatever else. So everything else is supporting your brand and who you are so that in the conversation you can really have the rubber meet the road. Does that make sense? Okay. And this is something I want you to understand. Your sphere is your ATM. So if you want to make 100 grand next year and be able to pull out 100 grand next year, do the math on how many deals you need from your sphere. Take that times 10 to know how many people you need in your sphere. Does that make sense? So if you want to make 100 grand and that represents 12 deals, which is about right, 12 deals times 7,500 is around 90 grand. So let's say 13 deals, I need 130 people in my sphere. And next year I'll be able to pull out 100 grand out of that sphere, okay? It's ATM, flat out. Every year to wake up in January, you won't necessarily know that I'm gonna get those deals when I want them. You're not gonna say, well, that means every month I'll do one deal for my sphere, but it does mean you should get 13 deals out of 130 people. You may get all 13 of them in July. But if you do it right, you're gonna get them, okay? And it may be cyclical, that's why we still want pillar 2 and pillar 3 in your business, whatever they are, to round out those times. But this will predictably tell you roughly what your income should be every year, at least as a baseline, okay? That's it. What? Go ahead. Oh, ask.
No, well, it was kind of a money question, and I have again, with the migraine. When you are managing your finances, everybody does it differently and a different way works for them. But when you're talking about the feast or famine situation, like, what are some ways that people handle that? Like, what are some ways that you handle that so that you don't have a month where you literally have no money and you're putting your monthly expenses on a Discover card?
Yeah.
And I say people because I don't necessarily need to know what you do, but just what are some of the
I'll
ways
tell
that
you honestly,
you know of?
I'm historically bad at it. I teach it, I'm historically bad at it, we just earn enough. You know what I mean?
Okay.
No, I'm not trying to be a jerk about that.
No, you're.
We just, and that's almost a curse in a way, because we probably, and Kathy and I have this conversation halfway consistently, is that she wants it more organized.
Yeah.
And so we're slowly trying to figure out how to transition more control of that to her in a way and get her caught up on that, because she's more detailed in what she wants or expects out of it. We probably could have twice as much wealth by now if we'd been more purposeful about managing the money we did make, right?
I would say
She's in the bathroom, so I can say that.
So don't tell her in front of her.
So, but the reality is true with that.
Tied to the church, tied to yourself.
Yeah.
So, the only other way, really honestly, is when we were in, I was telling them that if you control the money, we'd be twice as wealthy. So, careful.
He said that in front of everybody.
He did.
So, I said our blessing, but I repeated it. I said the blessing is we just historically have made enough money, it wasn't as big of an issue. If there was a month with not a deal, there was just enough money in the bank, or rental properties had cash flow or something, or our rev share that month was good, right, whatever it was.
Right.
It just kind of worked out that way, but we could have been much more intentional about it. I will say though, when we were in Mississippi and I took over an office that was failing, I was salaried, and it was a decent salary, it wasn't huge, but I was salaried. She was pregnant, and on Valentine's Day I got called. I'd been there 3 months. On Valentine's Day I got called and they said, we're closing that office.